Today on NewsWatch, new WikiLeaks revelations creating fresh controversy for the Clinton campaign, reigniting Hillary's email scandal, while her own staff says she was trying to get away with it.
The president thought when he came to office, his magnificence and his aura would solve all the world's problems.
And a closer look at President Obama's legacy on foreign policy and why the world is now such a mess. And then blue-collar towns crushed, losing jobs and businesses. Meet a family who was hit hard and see what kept them afloat in their time of crisis. And thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. With 13 days to go until the election, a new batch of WikiLeaks documents is creating new headaches for the Hillary Clinton campaign. The revelations are also raising questions about whether President Obama knew his then Secretary of State was using a private server and not a government-authorized system. It all led to one top Clinton aide saying, "We need to clean this up." George Thomas has more.
Hillary Clinton's staff knew they had a problem when on March 7, 2015, President Obama claimed that he first heard about then Secretary of State's private email server through news reports. The latest WikiLeaks emails show that Clinton's national spokesman had raised red flags with senior aides, writing, "Jen, you probably have more on this, but it looks like POTUS just said he found out HRC was using her personal email when he saw it in the news." Cheryl Mills, Clinton's lawyer, wrote to campaign chairman John Podesta saying, "We need to clean this up. He has emails from her. They do not say state.gov." Speaking in Central Florida on Tuesday, Donald Trump said the new email revelation showed the president knew about Clinton's private server.
And if you read what happened today with the server back and forth that he ended up knowing about, even though he said he didn't, it just came out on WikiLeaks. He knew about it.
This latest batch of emails also revealed growing frustration inside the Clinton camp over the server controversy. Longtime Podesta confidant Neera Tandon asked, why didn't they get this stuff out like 18 months ago? So crazy. Podesta replied, unbelievable. Tandon answered her own question, writing, I guess I know the answer. They wanted to get away with it. In another email exchange between the two friends, Podesta wrote, we've taken a lot of water that won't be easy to pump out of the boat. Most of that has to do with terrible decisions made pre-campaign, but a lot has to do with her instincts. Tandon responded, almost no one knows better than me that her instincts can be terrible.
She's got bad instincts. She's got bad judgment. You take a look at all of the harm and all of the things she's done. It's a mess.
Oh, thank you.
Clinton, who celebrates her 69th birthday today, continues to dismiss the email leaks, instead focusing on what she calls Trump's lack of qualifications to be commander-in-chief.
Now, after spending his entire campaign attacking one group of Americans after another, immigrants, African Americans, Latinos, women, POWs, Muslims, people with disabilities, now his final target is democracy itself.
Would you like to get started, sir?
With 13 days left until Election Day, people across the country are already casting their ballots in early voting states. Initial figures show more than 9 million have taken part in early voting. George Thomas, CBN News.
A new report shows Hillary Clinton tops the list of candidates who have received campaign donations from Islamists. That list was compiled by the Middle East Forum. They define an Islamist as someone who shares radical Islamic ideas with people like Iran's leaders and the Islamic State. They want to see Islamic Sharia law imposed on people of the United States. MEF says Islamists like the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, are trying to influence politicians this election season. Senior officials from CAIR have donated almost $20,000 to Hillary Clinton's campaign. Donald Trump has accepted no Islamist campaign contributions. New emails from WikiLeaks show President Obama's transition team kept a list of Muslim and Asian candidates for administration jobs. Arab Christians were excluded or put on a separate list. This email also shows the administration was obsessed with gender, race, and religion. Candidates were further categorized by their nationality and sometimes race. Another WikiLeaks showed that the team kept extensive lists of non-white candidates for administration posts. The United Nations World Heritage Committee voted Wednesday to approve a resolution ignoring Jewish ties to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem's Old City. The vote mirrored last week's resolution by UNESCO's Executive Committee declaring the Temple Mount and Western Wall Islamic. That move was an attempt to sever the historical Jewish connection to the sites and label Israel as an occupying power. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu blasted the new vote. He said, quote, "Radical Islamic forces destroy mosques, churches, and archaeological sites, while Israel is the only state in the region that preserves them and allows freedom of worship for all religions." He continued, UNESCO's World Heritage Committee deserves to be condemned, not Israel. Iranian pastor Behnam Irani has been released from prison after spending 6 years behind bars. The 41-year-old pastor was convicted of crimes against the national security of Iran after his house church was raided in 2010. Pastor Behnam's prison sentence was later extended in 2014 after 18 additional charges were brought against him. During his imprisonment, Behnam spent time in solitary confinement and has suffered serious health problems. His supporters are asking for prayer for his spiritual, emotional, and physical recovery. A Christian-owned bakery in Ireland lost its appeal to overturn a conviction that found them guilty of discrimination. The Ashers refused to bake a pro-gay marriage-themed cake in 2014. They were ordered to pay the plaintiff, local gay rights activist Gareth Lee.
We have always said it. It was never about the customer, it was about the message, and the court accepted that today. But now we're being told that we have to promote the message, even if it's against our conscience. What we refused to do was to be involved with promoting a political campaign to change marriage law in Northern Ireland. Because we're Christians, we support the current law, and we felt that making this cake would make us responsible for its message. It's been a trying time, but we're thankful to God and his faithfulness to us through everything.
Those close to the Asher family say an appeal will be filed with the Supreme Court in London. Christian cartoon track creator Jack T. Chick has died. Chick was best known for his cartoons that combine traditional evangelism with the issues of the day. He and other illustrators produced several hundred tracks over the decades, taking aim at abortion, occultism, and homosexuality. His company, Chick Publications, has sold 750 million gospel tracts translated into more than 100 languages. The company posted on Facebook the artist died peacefully Sunday. He was 92. Coming up, 8 years ago, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Peace. See why the world is a more dangerous place today than when President Obama first entered the White House. In just 3 months, President Obama will leave office. His signature accomplishment domestically is Obamacare, and it's collapsing. But what about his legacy in foreign policy? As Gary Lane shows us in this in-depth report, many critics warn the president will leave the world in a worse shape than he found it.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
Moments after he was sworn in as the nation's 44th president, Barack Obama unveiled his foreign policy vision.
Our security emanates from the justness of our cause, the force of our example, the tempering qualities of humility and restraint. America must play its role in ushering in a new era of peace.
9 months later, the Nobel Committee awarded him the Peace Prize, not for his accomplishments, but for what he intended to do on the world stage. And now, as Mr. Obama prepares to leave the White House, some security experts are questioning his foreign policy accomplishments and the consequences of his actions.
Supporters of the president's policies say he's leaving behind a more peaceful world, and eventually the Middle East will be a safer place. But his critics here on Capitol Hill say nothing could be further from the truth. He's created a big mess for the next president.
Fred Fleitz is a former CIA analyst.
He received a prize for a naive worldview that we know in 2016 has been an utter failure.
During his first inaugural address, the president said he'd take steps to end America's wars.
We will begin to responsibly leave Iraq to its people and forge a hard-earned peace in Afghanistan.
But despite that promise, peace didn't come to Afghanistan. The president wanted to withdraw all U.S. forces by late 2014, but instead a resurgent Taliban wreaked havoc on the country. So Obama had to reverse course. Today, more than 8,000 Americans still remain there. In Iraq, the president withdrew all American troops by the end of 2011. despite being warned repeatedly by top government officials and military advisors, including his own Secretary of Defense, Leon Panetta, about the potential consequences. But Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Kaine says the president had no choice.
Iraq didn't want our troops to stay, and they wouldn't give us the protection for our troops.
But Panetta has since written in his book that although an agreement was difficult, it could have been done. And critics, including GOP vice presidential candidate Mike Pence, say Obama's premature withdrawal from Iraq helped lead to the rise of the deadly Islamic terrorist group ISIS.
The sacrifices the American soldier made were squandered in Iraq because this administration created a vacuum in which ISIS was able to grow.
And once ISIS was on the scene after Obama's withdrawal from Iraq, it carried out a horrible genocide against Christians, Yazidis, and others in Iraq and Syria, causing a humanitarian crisis in the Middle East and Europe.
You don't walk away from a war when the other team is bringing it to you. That is, I've heard this president say he wants to get out of these wars, but when they bring it to you, you have no choice but to lead and to protect the American people.
Congressman Mike Pompeo is a member of the House Intelligence Committee.
He told us that al-Qaeda was on the run. He has since told us that the ISIS was the JV. This administration has consistently refused to take seriously the threat.
Not only abroad, but here at home, say Pompeo and others. When Omar Mateen murdered 49 Americans in Orlando earlier this year, President Obama refused to call it an act of Islamic terror.
There's no magic to the phrase radical Islam. It's a political talking point. It's not a strategy.
When we have a president who will not admit that we are at war with radical Islam, who won't even use the term, when we portray this threat as some threat from an isolated terrorist group and not a global ideology at war with modern society and Western civilization, we're never going to beat it.
In Syria, critics say feckless U.S. support of moderate rebel groups caused al-Qaeda, al-Nusra, and the Islamic State to grow in power and influence. President Obama said he would draw a red line in the sand if Syrian President Assad used chemical weapons against his own people. Assad turned over 1,300 tons of the weapons, but later used a chemical weapon, chlorine gas, against the rebels. Obama took no military action. As a result, Russian President Vladimir Putin stepped up his country's involvement, sending aircraft and troops to help Assad. Republican vice presidential candidate Mike Pence says weak American leadership in the Middle East led to Russia's return to the region.
There's an old proverb that says the Russian bear never dies, it just hibernates.
That bear came out of hibernation 7 years after the Obama administration promised a reset of relations with Russia. And Putin moved not only in Syria, but also in Georgia, Crimea, and Ukraine.
We watched the Russians take 1/5 of a sovereign nation, and America's response was almost nothing. That tells Vladimir Putin he has a green light, and you've seen him use that power.
In Egypt, Mohammed Morsi of the Muslim Brotherhood took office as president in the summer of 2012. But within months, he had issued a decree that basically gave him unlimited powers. His opponents called it an Islamic coup. Egyptians took to the streets in protest. President Obama demanded the Egyptian army restore Morsi and the Brotherhood to power. Some Egyptians claimed Brotherhood agents and sympathizers in the U.S. government influenced policy. Mohammed El Biari served on the president's Department of Homeland Security Advisory Council. El Biari had praised a Muslim Brotherhood leader and spoke at a 2004 event honoring Iran's Ayatollah Khomeini. And the president of the Islamic Society of North America, a group with suspected ties to the Muslim Brotherhood, advised President Obama on immigration and counterterrorism policy.
It is a good deal.
Barack Obama would likely say his greatest foreign policy achievement was the nuclear deal with Iran. But many critics say the administration only accomplished the deal by keeping key parts of it secret.
In the fall of 2016, we have a nuclear deal that can only be described as an enormous fraud. The only way this deal got through is because the details of it were concealed from Congress.
Congressman Pompeo exposed several secret side deals in the agreement.
This president struck a secret deal with the Ayatollah that's really between him and the Ayatollah. It's not even signed by either party. And that will almost always end in a way that does not serve the American people's interests.
In the recent vice presidential debate, Tim Kaine said the Iran deal eliminated Iran's nuclear weapons program. President Bill Clinton's CIA director, James Woolsey, disagrees.
I think it's worse than worthless. I think it may well be the worst international agreement the United States has ever signed. I think it will enhance Iran's ability to move quickly to have a nuclear weapon and not slow it down.
The reason is Iran can continue to enrich uranium, develop advanced centrifuges, and will have a reactor that produces plutonium that is being redesigned by the Chinese and will not be monitored by a process set up by this treaty.
Woolsey is concerned about the cash payments the Obama administration delivered to Iran the same day American prisoners were released in Tehran, ultimately amounting to $150 billion.
We are turning over tens of billions of dollars to them, saying that we're getting away from sanctions. In part, it seems it's more likely that what that is a bribery, essentially, to the Iranians to release some of our people they have grabbed.
Pompeo and others believe the money provided by the U.S. may be used by Iran to spread terrorism and further develop its nuclear weapons program.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
So nearly 8 years after his swearing in, America's Nobel Peace Prize winning president has fallen short of his goal of ushering in a new era of peace, with many analysts warning that the world is now a more dangerous place than when he entered the White House.
The president thought when he came to office, his magnificence and his aura would solve all the world's problems. The fact is, these enemies of the United States hate us regardless of who's in the White House. They hate our way of life, they hate our country, and they didn't change the way they thought because Barack Obama became president.
And they're likely to pose greater danger for the world and the next American president. Gary Lane, CBN News, Washington.
Next, an American family falls on hard times. See how CBN viewers like yourself help them to get back on their feet. Many blue-collar towns have been hit hard in recent years as jobs and businesses head overseas. In Pennsylvania, Tabitha watched that tragedy unfold in her small town as well. Then it really hit home when her husband was laid off. Suddenly, their family needed help just to make ends meet, and Operation Blessing was there.
The Turnbaugh family loved spending time together. But like many railroad and factory towns in this part of the United States, Newport, PA has gone through some tough years.
When I see some of the businesses around Newport shut down and boarded up, some of them have even had their buildings tore down. It's kind of sad to me because I've lived here all my life and that's part of my history that's disappearing too.
Jerry was working as an electric motor technician when he got laid off from his job.
There was times where my bills had to be put on hold, where my kid needed a pair of shoes or I needed some food in my fridge.
Tabitha turned to the Bible.
I grabbed that book and I hit the floor and I cried and I prayed and I prayed and prayed every day. And I just knew that something would work out, and it finally did.
Tabitha's mom told her about Operation Blessing partner Bread of Life Outreach.
The first time I ever brought anything home from Operation Blessing and Bread of Life, my kids went through everything. There was stuff that I could make really good dinners out of. It really brought us a little closer together. They could depend on me again.
Today, Jerry is working full-time hours again, and Tabitha recently started a job at an optometrist's office. Now, every chance they get, their family volunteers with Bread of Life to help others.
When I volunteer for Operation Blessing and Bread of Life, it's rewarding. It makes me feel good at the end of the day that somebody who was lost can now find a little bit of their way.
To anybody that helps out with Operation Blessing or to the Bread of Life who donates or helps even with just their time, I would like to say thank you and that you're appreciated.
I'm just very appreciative of places like Operation Blessing and Bread of Life. I really am.
And you can find out more about what Operation Blessing is doing to help people in need right here in the U.S. and around the world by going to its website. That is ob.org. Stay with us. There's more of CBN NewsWatch coming up after this. CBN's Orphans Promise is helping orphans all around the world, and one of those areas is the territory of Cabagra, Costa Rica. 300 children are getting help with education, food, and Christian teaching. Orphans Promise also partnered with 11 area doctors and more than 40 volunteers for medical outreach in the community. More than 130 people, mainly children, were treated. The outreach also included Superbook, where Gizmo brought games, popcorn, and a pair of rain boots for each child. You can find out more about what CBN is doing around the world by visiting cbn.com/international. It's time now for your Wednesday word, and today's word is fear. Remember this: fear is the opposite of faith, and with God, there is no place for fear. It is the enemy of his plans and purpose for your life. Scripture clearly says, perfect love casts out all fear, and God is love. So walk in love today and know that God has your back and he does not want you to be afraid. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbn.com, cbnnews.com. We'd love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you join us again right here next time. Make this a wonderful Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.